The Ensemble podcast is intended for professional financial advisors. All discussion is limited to publicly available information and should not be interpreted as legal, professional, or financial advice. Ensemble does not hold an AFS license nor provide any financial services. Before making investment decisions, you should obtain financial advice from a qualified financial advisor.
Hello, my name's James Wrigley. I'm a financial advisor and one of the principals of Melbourne-based financial planning firm First Financial. I've been a long-term listener and contributor to the Ensemble group and podcast, picking up some amazing nuggets of gold over the years. And through this podcast and the people that I'm able to speak to and interview, hopefully I can continue to deliver some of those nuggets of gold to you.
IntelliFlow is on a mission to give more people access to financial advice. Their technology, IntelliFlow Office, powers and streamlines the advisory experience for over 30,000 financial advisors worldwide, making an impact at every stage of the advice process, including practice management, revenue management, cash flow modelling, client portals, and more. IntelliFlow Office helps advisors manage all their client and provider data within a single integrated ecosystem that just works. Discover IntelliFlow for yourself by visiting intelliflow.com.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm James Wrigley and I've got the pleasure of speaking with Daniel and Jen, both from Modern New Financial Planners. Somewhat last minute agreed to join me today for recording an episode. Daniel, you've been on the podcast before, but Jen, this is your first time, so welcome to both of you. It's a pleasure to have some time to speak with you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, James.
That's all right. As we tend to do, with a lot of these podcasts, we tend to, go back a little bit and talk about kind of the story of how, I guess, each of you got into financial advice and the different roles that you're playing within the financial advice space right now, and some of the ins and outs of your business. Daniel, maybe we'll start with you. We'll spend most of the time trying to speak with Jen, but Daniel, maybe start with you. Tell us about Modern New Financial Planners. What's the story there?
Yep. So Modern New began basically after the Royal Commission. I was in a stage in a situation where there's a lot of structure and things changing with different businesses and everything. It got to the point where I had this vision of my own. I just done the AFA Rising Star, met Chris, met Victoria, all the great people from there, Ali, and I just thought, it's time for me to bring in my own palette to the profession, like my own vision and everything. So one day it was literally like Jerry Maguire, just everything fell into place, and within 15 minutes I'd walked out with absolutely nothing and just a dream and a vision, and that's when you began.
Yep. And what's involved in that? I speak to a lot of people in a whole lot of different businesses, but what's involved in that stepping out of, okay, I'm an employed financial advisor at the moment, like what's the first thing you need in setting up your own business? Where do you even start?
The same cliche, James. The best way to say is you need to start with a why. You've really got to have a purpose of why you're going to do it. It takes a lot to actually go out of that comfort zone. And there are days that, people think, why are we doing this? It's not going anywhere. Why don't we go back to employment? But when you've got a why, when you've got a sense of purpose, it's the first thing you absolutely need. And go out into the business and they'll take that step into the unknown. I think I was fortunate because before I became in the industry, before I became an employed planner, I was actually an entrepreneur. So I'd actually ran a few businesses before. They were very successful businesses. I just wanted to change a career. So I already had the basic knowledge and tools. But if you do go out on your own, it's always good to find that network of people that can actually help you with those tools and that find a good mentor and learn from their mistakes. Don't make their mistakes.
Yeah. Fantastic. And Jen, how about you? So you work in the Modern New Financial Planning business. What's your bit of backstory to where you've gotten to where you are at the moment?
So my financial planning journey started when my youngest turned 2, and my husband asked me what I wanted to do when he went to school. I already had a diploma in accounting, but I didn't enjoy that field, and I had experience in bookkeeping but no qualifications, so I'm basically starting from scratch. But I'm a numbers nerd and a bit of a geek, and I like analysing things. So I found myself listening to podcasts by an influential American finance guru and sort of memorised his steps to financial freedom and paid off the debt and got an emergency fund, and then got into investing and how do I do that? And his advice was quite wisely, go find a financial advisor. And I got to that stage and realized, you know what? I don't want to find a financial advisor. I want to be one.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So, that was in early 2019, just after the financial standards changed. So I was looking up on the FPA website as to how to get into the field because no one wants to do more work than they have to. And I realised that my diploma was actually the key to getting back into uni, both through CQU, so I could cash in the diploma for enrolment into bachelor. And yeah, that was in March 2020. I started doing my bachelor.
Yeah, right.
So then COVID.
So was that all when your youngest was at school? So you weren't doing that with young children at home, or you were
my youngest started kindergarten in 2020.
Okay.
Yep. So that was the plan. He's gone to school. Let's go get stuck into this. And then, all that happened. So, yes, I was studying 4 units at home with 2 kids at home, doing schooling at home. Yeah.
Yeah. 4 units at a time, or you did 4 units over that COVID period?
So I did 4 units in my first semester.
That's amazing. That's full-time university.
That is full-time, and I had no idea what I was getting myself in for.
Yeah.
My husband called me up at the end of that unit at the end of that semester and said, "You're not doing that again." So we toned it back to 3. So I've done my whole degree over 3.5 years.
Okay, I was going to say, if you finished it now, you have. Yep.
I finished in June.
Yep. Good on you. And so where are you at in terms of the professional year then?
So I was approved to start my professional year in March this year. So I was still finishing uni and I'm doing it part-time. About 40% through my first quarter.
And what about your first role in financial advice? Like, is working in for modern new financial plan? Is that your first role in financial advice?
Yeah, basically. I met Daniel through CQU. He was one of my he marked several of my assignments. And he was my lecturer for my capstone financial planning unit, financial planning construction. Yeah, I was quite taken by his teaching styles and his ability to communicate very clearly, and I thought he was brilliant, that he'd make an awesome mentor. So once I finished that unit, I sort of approached him about whether it'd be possible to start working with him at Modern New. And yeah, I started casually in January this year as a sort of a client services officer, paraplanner, just learning the back office. And then in March, as I said before, I was approved by Interprac to start my professional year.
Yeah, good on you. And Daniel, what does the business look like from a bums on seats in different roles? Like how many people are there? Is it just the 2 of you? Is there more? Like what's it look like?
So predominantly we've got 4 on the books on staff. We've got somebody that takes over doing all the filing, everything for now, a CSO role. We've still got my son, who actually came into the business for a while. He still helps me with the back house and anything behind the scenes. He was a broker for us for a while, and then we closed down that division to focus purely on financial planning. And when Jen came on board, we just she has a natural passion to be a financial planner, a natural talent to pick everything up. And we thought, well, maybe it's time to get another advisor. So we're slowly taking over the entire east coast of Australia. That looks like it.
So Jen will be, once Jen finishes her PY, Jen will be the second advisor in the business. So Daniel, there's you and so then you'll end up with the 2 advisors. Is that right? Or you've got another one at the moment?
So it'll be just the 2 advisors.
Just the 2. Yep. Now you don't work out of the same office or live terribly close to each other. Where are you both located?
So I'm in Bundaberg, nice, sunny, warm Queensland where they make rum.
Daniel, you?
I'm in Albury-Wodonga, where it's actually the complete opposite. It's freezing cold, especially the snowfields nearby, and they don't make rum.
So how does that work from a professional year perspective? So like we've got different people at different stages during the professional year here, and the first quarter, at least from the professional year perspective, is fairly like administration based, time on client files and so forth. So how does that work, and how do you propose the latter part of the professional year, where there's a lot more onus on going to client meetings and presenting and running their meetings and that kind of thing? How have you planned on making that work with you the two of you in different parts of Australia?
I think I'll jump on this, Jen, if that's okay. I think perspective was we have an advantage over everybody else in that I was actually teaching as a lecturer at CQU. And what we've done is what Angelina McGuinness has taught us is that we use the same techniques that we use when teaching students to actually help teach Jan and give Jen all the support resources that she needs. So for us, it actually feels natural working remotely. And we just adapted the business changes so that give Jen everything she needs to be able to do the job as anybody else would though in the office. And basically treated no different if we were face to face. We keep the monitors on at all times. We're there on hand to talk to each other, to be really frustrated, pull faces at the other person, get them at right now with the camera off. And keep it as cultural as possible, yet professional, that we make it work. And we've delayed a part to it, so there's a lot of travelling involved. And we're just planning trips out. I've got New South Wales and Victoria. Jen's going to eventually have Queensland. And we're going to be bringing her down to where it is nice and cold, so she can experience what it's like in Australia. And it's just planned trips to do the face-to-face, and I'm going to go up to Bundaberg as well and help her. Basically, help her start to build up their clients.
Yeah. So do you, just picking up on, so you mentioned you're kind of taking a teaching approach to the professional year, but then also just something you mentioned about you've got the screens on all the time. So the two of you have like a Teams video call or something like that, just going the whole time, and you're both on this. So as if your colleague was sitting next to you in the office.
That's the point.
Is that what's going on? Yeah, what?
Yeah, we keep zooming in the background. We actually watched part of the video for our very first day and just see how this was going to go, doing it via Zoom, and how both nervous and that we were. But it's to the point where it's no different than an associate with you, James, sitting right
next to you. Yeah. How's that? Like, of course that makes sense. Like I'm sitting in a little office room at the moment recording this podcast with you, but I just left a desk where there's someone sitting on that side and there's someone sitting on that side of me. But to leave the Zoom going all day long. I know others do a bit of a check-in in the morning and a check-in in the evening, but why not have it going the whole time? Makes sense. Yep. So Daniel, can you maybe talk a bit about, and then I'll get Jen to chime in as well. What's the teaching approach to doing the professional year? What does that mean? How are you structuring that?
Yeah. So as I said before, I'm using the same technique and the work brings to CQU, which focuses a lot on work integrated learning systems. So it's basically very hands-on and a very realistic environment. And for us, it was really good because I was just transitioning from that environment from there to with Jen. There's no different from actually, I was actually learning from the university. We did have to make a lot of changes to make it adaptable for Jen. Pretty much how we work, based practice. We still have that, but we just changed the way that we actually do things, just changing our systems. It's a lot of trial and error.
And Jen, what's your take on how it's going? I suppose you haven't experienced a professional year somewhere else, so it might be a case of you don't know any different. But are you seeing similarities in the way that you're engaging in the professional year now versus your studies at uni? Like, is there any similarities there?
Not so far. I'm still kind of easing into the study aspect of the professional year. It's mostly been a lot of observing, file noting, starting to interact with clients, that sort of thing. But we are starting to look into the ethics side to prepare for the exam.
The exam you've got to do, that's the big one in quarter two. You can't pass quarter two until you've done your exam. I think you'll be fine if you've just done some studies. You've just done a university degree,
muscle memory.
I'd imagine you're going to be fairly well prepared for that.
And I got the best in the industry to teach me, so I'll be fine.
So Jen, what do your clients look like? So you're in different parts of Australia. Where are your clients located? What do they look like? Can you talk a little bit about that?
At the moment, I'm meeting Dan's clients through Zoom. So when he meets a client, we just, again, keep the Zoom running and point the camera in that general direction. And I chat to the clients through the Zoom and observe the meeting that way. the plan is to build up some clients up here, but that's going to take time.
So Daniel, are the clients mostly around where you are? Like, are they fairly local to you, or is it you've got some dotted across the country? What's it like?
Yeah, so for my clientele, it's predominantly between Sydney and Melbourne. A lot of them is in the Alberta region. They do have national clients as far as Canada, so Zoom meetings, that's big. A lot of the hands-on clients, just face-to-face, they come into our office and look at it and probably so we just make sure that we've got cameras and everything for Jen to actually see the overall picture of what's going on. Let her feel like she's part of it. The clients are actually really enjoying having Jen in the Zoom meeting as well.
Yeah.
Even the clients, they're just comfortable with that Jen's there on the screen watching as well. It's sort of joining the conversation with her. They try to include her as much as possible as we try to include Jen into the meeting. And it's just become a natural dynamic now. If a client comes in and Jen's not on the screen, they actually ask questions and make sure she's all right and everything is in. So
where is she?
Right.
Yeah. What do your typical clients look like? What's a typical modern new financial planning client?
We're very holistic. So when a lot of advisors say, we're holistic, we are actually really holistic. We don't specialize in anything, but we can specialize in everything. So I'll have clients come in that are just starting in at their first job and everything, coming out of university, up to 80-year-olds. She would like, complex estate planning strategies pass on to their family and they move on. We pretty much take everything in between. And it's good because the way we structured the business was designed that we could take that holistic approach, apply all the standards to how you do business, and then explore every avenue we can to provide the clients the opportunities that they want and the advice on what they're looking for their journey.
Yeah, fantastic. Yep. Now, I noticed we mentioned before we pressed record, you commented on a post on LinkedIn that Matt Hale had put up about estate planning, and you offered to have a chat with what you're doing. We do, and I suspect a lot of financial advisors, there's the standard, you should have wills and powers of attorney to make sure you got your beneficiary nominations on your super funds, those kind of things. Are you doing anything extra in that estate planning space other than the stock standard?
So we, because estate planning becomes the way we describe our clients holistic, estate planning is the overall picture of what we're trying to do. Not so much, the lifestyle that you're going to live, what you're going to protect, but how you're going to pass it on or what's going to be like for the next generation. So we try and factor that in as much as possible for it. We've got one strategy where we've got an elderly lady who had a fairly large sum of money in her internal savings. And for example, when she passes away, she wants to pass it on to the grandchildren. Grandchildren being aged between, say, 20 to 26. The problem came, the chance came, we're going to pass that money on without them actually spending the money in one lump sum. The testimony trust, traditionally most people go testament trust. What we created is she also was looking for capital guarantee and income to support her while she's still retired. So we took an approach using the factor of the grandchildren. We did a multi-tier annuity or challenger. And so from going at 1 year term, a 2 year term, a 3 year term, splitting the money evenly, she's getting the benefits of the capital guarantee. She's getting the benefits of having the income coming in. But if she passes away, the grandchildren will get all the money at different stages in their life, with the largest lump sum amount being towards the very end. So the way they've got a little bit of money that to get them by help them through the grieving period, without the risk of them buying all the money to try to replace.
So can you talk me through how are the stages that they're getting the money? Is that from maturity of the annuity at different points in time?
So from the maturity of the maturity of the annuity. So if she dies in year one, we've got year one's worth coming within 12 months, year two within 2 years, year three and year three. And when we come up to time to renew the maturity, we then reassess, and if it's feasible, we just set year 1 to year 3 year term, and we just start rolling maturity annuities that way.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there any particular structure around the conversations? And Jen, you might know a bit about this from sitting in on some of the meetings as well, but is there any particular structure around an estate planning conversation that you're using with clients to try and flesh out these goals or aspirations from your clients?
So what we do in that aspect is that we basically set it at the very start. We put the framework into the client's mind. So yes, we're going to be having these conversations. But when we discuss the idealistic approach, we'll talk about every aspect. And as I said before, estate planning basically draws the line for it all to come together. We let them know that. So by doing that, we say to them that we're going to be asking really wonderful questions, and they're going to know what it is when we're asking it. So there's no surprises when I do start introducing those conversations into it. It's all like, oh, you've got a will, you've got a power of attorney. How do you want your funds passed on? And once I start to get that, it's sort of look up and forward into more detail. It could be, in my aspect, this emotional thought for a lot of clients, but because we're framing them to let them know that we're going to be asking, this clears the conversation quite nicely.
Yep, gotcha. Okay. And so, Jen, you're obviously working through the professional year. Longer term, what's the plans for Jen longer term?
What's the plan for Jen long term? Well, around December next year, I'll be getting my AR, and then I'm going to hit the ground running and take over the world. I think that.
Has the two of you given any thought to? You mentioned trying to build out some clients around where you are in Bundaberg. Like, have you given any thought as to how you might go about doing that?
Yeah, Dan and I have a saying, you're stuck with me. So we're not planning on, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I know a lot of PYs tend to finish and move on. That's not my plan at all.
And in terms of finding clients around Bundaberg, what do you have any, I don't know, are you involved in sporting clubs or school things, kinder, like how do you think you might go about doing that?
I'm going to pick the brain of my mentor sitting over there because he's brilliant at this sort of thing. My thing's the numbers, he's the creative. Okay, he's the numbers as well, but yeah.
Daniel, what do you think?
So I'm working with my mentor on this one, actually, Sharon Hall. Been absolutely fantastic helping me, Jen, overcome the most barriers that you get with remote PY. And pretty much where the strategy is that I'm going to be doing a lot of trips to Bundaberg, which I'm, where it's nice and warm and they have beaches and things. I'm really not looking forward to that.
No, sounds like you can't wait.
It's going to be rough. And yes, I'll be doing a lot of trips up there to basically, it's like we're building the Molyneux. I'm Molyneux, Jen's part of the Molyneux, so we're going to be going to try and really help promote it, getting her out there. Molyneux is very big in helping support local community events and local communities and local charities. So we're using the same approach that we used in Albury with Ombre and Nolan. We'll start the numbers for the Gen and get the interest and generate everything going through up in the Wide Bay area. And it's going to, because we do like giving to the community, we are more of an educational practice where we run the, if I said if you were a people planner or a profit planner, we're a people planner of sorts, and doing seminars and just seeing what we can do to really help the Bundaberg community. Because I think that's where Jen and I's, our greatest strength in everything we do is that we have a real passion to want to help people. Would you agree with that, Jen?
Yeah, we are definitely values aligned.
Yeah, sounds like you found the right place, Jen. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely fell on my feet.
So Daniel, are you still doing the lecturing at university? Are you still doing that as well?
I am. I've just begun now this semester, so I'm doing the 19020, which I call the Top Gun class. So
Top Gun class.
That's pretty much that's what it is. You're the best of the best, and we just we take everything they get right, and we just teach you how to fly the plane. So I'm teaching that one, with at CTU. My colleague Andrew Laing is teaching the insurance side, and Wayne are teaching the estate planning. So it's actually a lot of advisors lecturing at CTU. And so I'm just teaching pretty much what I taught Jen. Just all the holistic approach. They learn all the components, we're putting it all together and showing them how everything that they've learned to that point does come together in financial advice to produce a SOA. And To be honest with you, James, some of the quality that we're seeing coming through the students, the SOAs that they're producing from what they're learning, I would actually match it to a lot of the advisors that I've seen in the past when I used to do a lot of audits.
That's fantastic. So is there, there's a lot written about declining advisor numbers, all the people that have left financial advice over the last couple of years. Is there people coming through the university system that have an interest in getting into financial advice? You're doing some subjects in relation to that, but do you think there's people coming through that have an interest, or is it only a trickle that are coming out of the universities?
So we're starting to see the numbers come up again. It was a little bit, I think it's good in one sense because a lot with the decline in the end with the financial service industry was all the changes and everything. And we've got people coming in now that want to be advisors, that want to help people, that are passionate to join our profession. And it's because we're now surrounded by a lot of advisors that stay in the industry that are passionate. So we're kind of leading that example. Everything you're doing, like we've done Sunbolt with you, James, or if you put on social media and that, we've actually now we're attracting new talent because they want to be just like us and see what we do because we're still here.
Yeah, it's interesting. You've mentioned that. So, some of the videos and things that are put in different places, I'm actually noticing that there have been multiple, not like there's hundreds of them, but there have been multiple occasions when people are asking me, what did you do? How did you get into the industry? How do I become a financial advisor? These kind of questions. So, and they tend to be coming from younger people. Yeah, so maybe there is increasing interest in it because we could desperately need more financial advisors and more people like you, Jen, going through the PY, whether they're straight out of high school, whether they're doing it a little bit later after having a family. But
I guess the biggest problem with my end of the entering the industry is that there is a lack of a clear pathway. So it's all good and well to want it, but what do you do after the degree? That is becoming clearer over time, but it was murky for a while.
You were kind of lucky in the role that you picked up because of the studies you were doing and obviously in your day. But then, like here, most people start off in our client services team. So they might get a job as an associate advisor if they're coming in they've got a little bit more life experience behind them rather than a 21-year-old fresh out of university. They might go into an associate advisor role, but that tends to be the pathway that we have here, client services team or associate advisor.
It's very much, it depends type of situation.
It does, absolutely, depending on which business you end up in, whether it's a smaller business, whether it's a bigger business.
And as you said, life experience makes a difference as well.
Yeah, for sure. The associate advisor that I just had, he's moved on, but he bounced around a whole lot of different jobs before getting into financial advice, and his life experience showed in the work that he was doing. It was different to it as a 21-year-old just straight out of university.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining me. It's been a pleasure to speak with you this morning. Jen, good to have you in the industry. I think Daniel's lucky he's got a good one there. So,
oh, he's very lucky.
I'm not listening. You're not to approach Jen. She's nervous.
Finish the podcast, but by saying recruiters stay away. She's taken it, and very happy in her role. So good on you that the two of you are making it work. And I think if anyone can take anything from this, and people heading through the professional year, you don't need to be employing people that live in the same city or town as you, that can attend the same office as you.
I guess it does need to be made clear though that
work.
Remote doesn't just happen. It is work. It is something you have to work at.
It's work. You have, but the two of you clearly have made it work as well. It could have not, but you both adapted. As you said, it was a bit weird in the beginning having the Zoom running the whole time, but hey, it works for you. So I think there's a bit of value in that for anyone that might be listening as well.
We will release a video of our first days to everyone a couple of years down the track so everyone can see what it was really like to build the work.
So you've got that recorded the first day. You can
we'll both very nervous, but
look back and chuckle on it later on. Once you've taken over the east coast of Australia, as you said, you might release that to the world. Good on you. Well, great to speak with you both. appreciate you joining me on such late notice, and see you soon.
Thank you for having us.